Hello guys, my name is Nate, welcome back to my channel. It is TBR time. Today I'm going to be doing my March TBR. It is March 1st as I'm filming this, so I'm a little bit late, but that's fine. And I need to figure out what I'm going to be reading for the month of March. Now, before I get into that, I just want to do a little recap on how I did in February. I had quite a behemoth TBR in February, and I probably will surprise no one that I did not read it all, but I actually think I did a pretty decent job. I don't mind these kind of games kind of just helping me whittle down from my bigger TBR what I'm going to read, and like, I have sometimes like decision paralysis when there's too many options, I don't know what to pick. So this game really helps in that. Yeah, and I think I actually did manage to read a decent amount. I had some DNS for the month, all of which I will go over in my February wrap up. But yeah, first of all, I just want to say as well, thank you so much to anyone that has joined me in the month of February. Honestly, the support is so fantastic, blows my mind, and I'm so appreciative of it. Moving on to March, I'm actually going to be participating in 2 readathons in the month of March at the moment. Maybe some more, we'll see. The first one is Realmathon, hosted by Covers with Cassidy. I'm going to be on Team Shadows. This is a kind of team-based readathon game, a competitive style game, and yeah, it's mostly done in prompts, so I'm not really going to be thinking about these prompts while playing my game. I'm just going to kind of pick my books and then see what prompts they fit. The prompts, I think there is a wide variety enough of them that I should be able to match to 1 or 2 prompts, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. And then the second readathon is the Roll of Reads Readathon. This is hosted by a book fiend named Mel. I will leave a link to all their channels and everything in the description below. And this is a readathon that is basically based on her TBR game, where you play her TBR game to pick prompts that you then pick books for. This is in celebration of her birthday happening in March, and yeah, it sounds like a really good time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Mel's game first, pick some prompts for that, and then I'm going to try and match those prompts to books that I get from my game. If I can't fit them in, I'll add them in as extra books at the end. Before jumping into my game, let's jump over and play that. Okay, so for Mel's game, I have written all the prompts on these different little bits of paper, so I'm just going to shuffle them, place them out in a 5x4 grid, and then roll the dice to pick what prompts that I need to do for my Roll of Reads Readathon. Right, so we have 1 all the way down here to 20. First of all, I'm going to roll my d8 to pick how many rolls I need to do. Anything under a 4 is just going to count for a 4. 4 is the minimum that I'm going to do, which I got a 1, so I'll be picking 4. And then I'm going to roll my d20 to figure out which ones I will be picking. A 20, actually, that's a reward. So I didn't actually write the rewards down. So there's 9 prompts, so I'm just going to quickly do a random number generator.
A random number between 1 and 9 is 4.
So, which means I get this prompt. Replace any prompt with a mood read. That's quite nice. So let's see then what this prompt number 20 is. It is takes place on an island. Let's replace that. I realised I had not actually had 19 down, but we'll still say that's 20. For the second roll, number 4, which is a random colour on the cover. Number 11, which is a book club or a read-along. And then the last prompt for the Roll of Reads Readathon would be 16, which I didn't even grab that, but that'll be this one, which is a book I keep meaning to read, but don't. So as you will see, I got 4 prompts for Mel's game. I did also get a reward, so I can switch one of them out for a mood read. I'm going to see how that goes throughout the game. I did get a random colour, so that's the only thing I really need to do. So I've got my random kind of colour generator up here, and I'm just going to tap it and get me a new one, I think. Or I'll refresh it to get me a new one. Okay, yeah, so it's got this kind of corally, like it's kind of a dusky blue. It's kind of this dusky blue colour. Put a screenshot up as well. I'll see what books I can try and match to that. So that's my colour one. That's pretty much the only thing I needed to do for Mel's game. The other prompts are pretty self-explanatory. And yes, so now I can get into my game. Before I start my game though, I have decided to add a kind of punishment element into my game. Not that serious, just something I wanted to do just because I like the idea of punishments. But I also don't want to do something that punishes me too much. It's basically, I'm going to be every month, if I don't succeed in my TBR, putting on this little square that's going to just turn that square into a red square. This is very much inspired by Stephanie's game from Stephanie's Bookverse, where she adds a square that kind of like is a punishment-esque square. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to figure out where he goes, put him on the board, and then yeah, next month he'll just come off. If I fail, he'll go back on, but like I won't be adding them up. It would just be like a one and done kind of thing. We'll see how it goes. This could change. I change my game quite frequently. So I am also going back to using a D12 this month, after last month, to see if I can make this TBR a little bit more manageable. So yeah, let's jump in then to the first rolls. So as you see, I'm all set up here. I have Mel's prompts here and my jars and everything. So first of all, I'm just going to roll my D4 to figure out what side I'm going to put this little punishment on, and then it's just going to replace the white on that side. And if you can see, that is 2. It's really hard to show the D, but it is the 2. So it will just be going over that square, and that now makes that a red square. And this month's counter is going to be this little soccer figure in celebration of the new Avatar TV series released on Netflix, which I haven't actually watched yet. So if anyone has watched it, let me know what you think, because I would be interested to know. I will eventually watch it. I just haven't yet. Roll 1 for March. is a 10. Oh, so that takes us here. And I don't know if I've actually used these spots before in this game, so far. These are now purple spots, so I spin my purple wheel to pick my different jars, but they're also portal spots, which means this one takes me here. So I'm already halfway around the board, which is quite nice. So yeah, let me get my spinner wheel and we'll see what it gives me. Ebook. What a good first roll, already halfway around the board. And yes, I have my ebook jar. So this has all of my like ebook books on it that I've bought. I don't know if I've bought any more and not added them in. I'm trying to be better about just buying a load of ebooks. Let's just go for this one. What does that say? Can you guys read that? I can't read that. My handwriting's yellow face. Okay, this is by R.F. Kwon. I'll put a picture of it here. It's very, very popular. It's not very long, which is quite nice. But yeah, I don't know anything about it really. Well, no, that's a lie. This book, I believe, I'm going to kind of give a rough synopsis of what I think it's about. It's about two authors. One of them dies and the other one steals her manuscript and basically pretends to be a Asian American author that has published this book. That's what I think it's about. I think it's about the publishing industry. Yeah, I believe it was like a Goodreads Choice Awards. It was definitely a nominee. I don't remember if it was a winner, but it was definitely a nominee. So yeah, I know a lot of people like it and it will be my first R.F. Kwon. I do have Babel as well as an ebook. So it'll be interesting to see how I find this of hers, especially because this is like her first, I don't know if it's her first non-fantasy, but it might be one of her first non-fantasies. Yeah, that's a bit different. So Yellowface will be our first book. Doesn't really work for any of Mel's prompts, so that's fine. On to the next roll. That is a 2, which is our first red. So we're going to do the green first, which is a middle grade book. And the red, is a classic, but a read-only classic. I got this one last month. I didn't do it last month, so I potentially could have gotten one book for these, but I'm just going to put 2 books on it. So my read-only classic is going to be the same one it was last month, which is Thomas Hardy's A Selected Short Stories. I didn't even start it last month, so I will be putting this on this month for my read-only classic. And for my middle grade, I'm going to be putting on Exile, I think it's called, which is the second book in the Keepers of the Lost City series. I finished the first one in February and really enjoyed it. I'm behind. This is a readathon that Meg Reads is doing and I'm behind on it. We're supposed to be reading the 3rd book this month. So yeah, I can get this on Everand as an ebook and I had a good time with the first one. The first book is basically about a young girl named Sophie who she finds out she is an elf and ends up leaving her whole world behind and going to this magical world where she's learning to trade in magic and there's kind of like a plot going on and she needs to figure out like why is she different, why is she special and all of that, kind of like chosen one. It was quite a fun read. I listened to the first one, but I do have the ebook on Everand for the second one, so I will be reading the second one. So those are the next 2 picks. I don't know if either of those work for any other prompts because I'm not sure if this is set on an island. So yeah, on to the next roll. 8. So this is our portal square, which as I just mentioned, this portal takes me here. If I landed on this portal, it would have taken me here. This portal takes me back here. So all of that early progress has now completely disappeared, which is fine. Let's do another spinner wheel. Yay! We won't talk about where we're at, but it got us a manga jar, which is quite nice. So again, all of the titles of all the different manga series I own are in here, and I will just whip one out and show you. I always show you, but I don't actually know if you can ever read. Oh, that says Oran. This is Oran High School Host Club. I will go and grab the first volume. So, Oran High School Host Club, this is a 18-volume shoujo romance series. It's a comedy series. It's for older teens. And yeah, I watched the anime, as I'm sure most people that are into anime did when I was a teenager. And I have most of the volumes, so I want to read them to see if I actually want to keep the series, if I like it now as an adult. I'm not sure 100% if I will enjoy it as much as an adult as I probably enjoyed the anime as a teenager. It'll be interesting to see how it's aged. In my viewing of it. It's a series about this girl Haruhi who goes to a kind of rich boarding school, or no, a rich kind of private school, and she ends up falling in with this host club. She owes them money, so she has to pretend to be a host, pretend to be a boy for her time there to earn back money to be a part of this club. Yeah. Hijinks ensue. It's one of a lot of people's early noughties, anime classics. Yeah, I think it's also had live actions, which I've never watched. But yeah, so that'll be the next book on the TBR. I will put this back in because there is more in the series if we get another manga jar. So let's go on to the next roll. 12, which takes us back here. Okay. Let's do the green first. A KU book. I'm not doing KU at the moment, so I will either pick something from Borrow Box, Everand, or an ebook. But the red is to go back to the start. Okay. So we're not making tons of progress, but okay. Okay, so we started off okay, but we're back at the start. but that's okay. So a KU book. I think for this one, I might do, again, a poll pick for this. I think all the poll picks I've done have been ebooks. Yeah, this is my third one, and they've all kind of been ebooks. I've made sure I read the ones that I picked for my poll pick as well, because I'm really appreciative that people vote on it. So I have, let's do The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I'm quite interested in reading. I do have Good Girl, Bad Blood on there, which is the second book in the How to Train Your... No, it's not How to Train Your Dragon. How to Get Away with... No, why do I always say that? Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. The Wolf and the Woodsman by Hannah Witten, is that? No, by Ava Reed. And for my fourth book, I might put I Feed Her to the Beasts and the Beast is Me by Jameson Shea. Yeah, so I'm going to have those 4 random books. I don't think any of them are the same genre, but yeah, those 4 books, there'll be a poll pick. The poll pick will be going up as this video goes up. If you would like to vote in it, you obviously don't have to, but I really appreciate it. So yeah, those are the 4 random books that I'll pick for my KU book. Back to the start and on to the next roll. And we got a 2, but it's a green, which is the easiest prompts, which is a manga, which is nice. So for manga, I'm just going to be putting on Boys Over Flowers Volume 27. I read 25 and 26 in February, and so yeah, just going to carry on with the series. This is a romance series. It's an older teen. It's kind of like rich school, poor girl, toxic kind of relationships, messy drama. It's kind of, the hijinks are kind of insane in this sometimes, but yeah, you just kind of roll with the punches. It's got 36 volumes in the series, and so I'm really excited. I want to finish this year. It's one that I watched the anime for, I think, about 15 years ago, and so I want to actually finally finish the manga. So that's this year's goal. So 27 will be going on the TBR. On to the next roll. A 4. 4. Okay, a green, which is a crime or detective book, and then the red is Roll the Dice, Go Back That Amount. Jeez. Okay, which is 2, which I then have to pick up that prompt. So that was then a blue, which would be an own voice book. And then the blue would go with the black, which would be to read in 1 day for 20 points. Okay, I think for my crime detective book, I'm just going to use Everand to listen to another Agatha Christie. I have no idea which one is my own issue. I've listened to And Then There Were None, and I did quite enjoy that, but I don't know what else would be like a good one to start with. Yeah, but it's going to be an Agatha Christie for this one. So for my own voice, that if I do read in 1 day, I get 20 points. These black cards, by the way, are for points. I'm kind of on a book buying ban except for points. I earn points through this game, and then I buy books with that. Basically, a point now, I've changed it. A point is basically equal to £1. So this would be £20. I have changed it as well so that it includes kind of everything book related that I buy, which is physical books, but also ebooks, manga, and subscription services like Everand. So yeah, this is gonna be 20 points if I read this. So I think I'm gonna pick Felix Ever After. I've had this for a while. It's by Kaysen Calendar, who is a trans author. This is about a trans boy. He's in high school, and I think it's basically about him navigating his feelings, his complex feelings. He begins a journey of questioning and self-discovery that helps redefine the most important relationships and how he feels about himself. I've had this for a while. I actually bought this before I went to like Pride in my local area almost 2 years ago. So I have had this for a while, and yeah, I'm excited to read this. I haven't read much books about trans characters, so I'm interested in reading more. And yeah, it has these beautiful spines, which was the draw when I bought it, but I do think the actual cover, it sounds really interesting. This will work for Mel's prompt of keep meaning to read but don't, because I have been meaning to read this since I picked it up and I haven't. So yeah, I'm going to use this prompt as well for that. And if I can read it in a day, I get 20 points, but I'm never going to like push myself to do that and ruin the book for me. It's about 350 pages, and I think that's manageable for me to do in like 1 day where I'm doing nothing else. So yeah, that'll be the next book on the TBR. We've had a couple of little bits of bad luck, but that's fine. On to the next roll. 11. So that will be my borrow box section. Okay, so for borrow box, I actually have Wolf Song out by TJ Klune. This is the book that I'll be putting on here. This I think is about shifters or werewolves, or just wolf shifters, and I think it's queer. That's all I really know about it. I know a lot of people like this series. I had reserved it a couple of months ago. It's become available for me now, so I need to listen to it anyway. So this will be my borrow box pick for the month. I've got a lot of non-physical books actually so far this month, so on to the next roll. That's a 2, which is a blue, I picked 2 up there. Oh, okay, well, start a new series. Okay, not always what you want to see. However, this does work for a book that I wanted to read this month, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I wanted to read this because I don't remember who, I think it was Fairyloo, it might have been Illumicrate, have announced they're doing special editions for this series, and I've never read the series, but if I like the series, I potentially would want to buy the special editions depending on how they look. They haven't really revealed any kind of cover art, and I think the pre-orders or some more information or something comes out in April. So I want to read the first book in this series to see if I like it enough to maybe buy the first 4. I think they're doing it in 2 chunks, first 4 of the special editions. Now, I know some people say you should start with Assassin's Blade. I own this one, so this is the only one that I own, so I'm just going to start with this one. It's one I picked up in a charity shop ages ago. I know this is a very beloved series. It is about our main character, Selena, who is an assassin, and that's pretty much all I know about it. I don't know where it goes from there. I don't know how that storyline expands into like, what, an 8-book storyline? So yeah, we'll see. But I did want to try and read this month so that I know if I'm invested enough that I would potentially want to spend like 80 quid on 4 books and then another 80 quid on the rest later on down the road. So yeah, so for start a new series, I will be picking Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. On to the next roll. That is a 6. 6, which is another spinner wheel. So I got my standalone jar. This has all of the standalones in it from about before June last year. I'm trying to I want to run this standalone jar down before adding anything new into it, because then it's like working on my backlist. So this one, which is Uprooted by Naomi Novak. So, Uprooted by Naomi Novak. This, I think, Naomi Novak writes A Deadly Education, I think, which I soft DNF'd in February because I just wasn't really vibing with it. I will go back to it, I think, in the future and try to read it a bit more to see if I actually wanted to read it, but if that's the same author, I think it is. So yeah, this I've had for absolutely ages. It, I think, is some kind of, is it a Rumpelstiltskin? It's about some kind of village that is set in a peaceful valley, and there is some kind of dragon that protects them, but every year he takes a girl to be his wife, and I think that girl is then like never seen from again, and I'm guessing the main character in this gets taken. I'm assuming they fall in love. I think it's a standalone, which will be quite nice. It's a fantasy standalone, lovely to see. So yeah, that's the next book on the TBR. It does have this really nice foiling on the bottom, which is quite nice. It's one I have owned for over 4 years though, so that will give me an extra point for my TBR game because it came to where I live now with me. So I'm interested to see how I feel about it. On to the next roll. 5, which is a purple and a black. So the purple, geez, there we go, is my series jar, and then the black is to read it in 3 days for 10 extra points. Again, all of the series that I'm in the middle of are in this little jar, so we will go with the one that I just threw on the floor, this one, and that is, oh, does that say Power of 5? Yes, the Power of 5 series. So this is Night Rise. This is by Anthony Horowitz. It's the 3rd book in a 5-book series, The Power of 5. I read the last 2 books like last year, and I did enjoy them, but I feel like I've forgotten a lot what happened in the 2nd book. In the 1st book, our main character, whose name I can't remember, but he is sent away to live in like a little village because he is a troubled teen, and so he's gone away to live with like a carer, and then he kind of realizes there's some kind of weird cult going on. People that are trying to help him are dying, and there's something weird going on, and basically it's this group of like old ones, they're called, and they are trying to destroy the world, and him and these 4 other children have powers that can save the world. That's a really pared down idea of what this book is about, but yeah, this is the 3rd book in the series. I'm interested to see where it goes. I might have to do a little bit of a recap, find some kind of synopsis for the 2nd book. I pretty much remember everything that happened in the 1st book, but the 2nd book for some reason is blanking me, which is weird because I read it after. But yeah, carry on with the series, that's fine. I think this works for my Aurelium, my Year in Eldia, which is I think a book not the first or the last in a series. This works for that book. So yeah, and if I manage to read it in 3 days, I will get 10 extra points, which I think I can get the audiobook out for this from my library, so I potentially will be able to read it in 3 days. On to the next roll. That's a 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a free pick, which I will do at the end of the game, which is quite nice. And then a 7, which takes us to the end. Okay, so I need to pick a green card, which is a European author, a blue card, which ends on an odd page number, and then the black is to read for 4 hours for 4 hours in 1 day, and you get 10 extra points for that. So for my European author that ends in an odd page number, I'm going to be putting on Adele. I think that's how you say it. This is by Leila Salmani, and it is a book club pick. That is my book club that I do with my sisters. This is my twin sisters pick for the month, and so yes, I believe she is a French author. It is about Adele, who has apparently this amazing life, amazing husband, child, but I think she gets bored and decides to have some kind of affair. I have no idea where it's going to go from there, but yeah, my sister I think has read one other book by this author and she quite liked that, which is why she wanted to check this out. And it works for a European author. It does say read for 4 hours in 1 day. It's not a very big book. So I don't actually know if this will take me 4 hours to read. If I manage to read it in one day, basically, I will just give myself those points. Yeah, this also works for the buzzword prompt of the month, which is to have a character's name in the title. Adele is our main character. That could not be how you say her name, but that is the main character's name. Yeah, so that will go on for the last book. And also, this works quite nicely for the book club or read along prompt. So I will add that in, but I do still have 2 other prompts. So I'm going to look at them now and figure out which one I want to use for. Okay, so for my free pick, but I'm also going to use the random color on the cover. I'm going to be reading Arthur and Teddy Are Coming Out. Now, there is this kind of blue here, but the under the jacket book is pretty much the similar blue, I think. So I'm going to let that count. This is a book, it is about a grandfather who at 70, in his late 70s, he comes out as gay, and his family, I think, this throws his family for a bit of a loop. And then his grandson is also struggling with his sexuality and developing feelings for one of his co-workers. Yeah, I think they bond over that, and I think it's just a story of like coming to terms with who you are. And yeah, I'm excited to read this. I've had this for a while, and it also works. I mean, this could also work for my Buzzwordathon, but it also does work for a my Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, which is to read a book with 2 POVs. It does have different chapters that are titled Arthur and Teddy, and so I'm assuming it's just from their point of views. There is a bookmark in it because my sister is currently reading this, but yes, I think this is the book that I will get on for the random colour, and this will be my free pick. Now, I do still have the takes place on an island, so I'm going to use my reward that I got to turn this into a mood read, and I think for that, I'm in the mood this month. I'm not really a mood reader, but I'm in the mood this month, shall we say, to read In Deeper Waters by F.T. Lukens. I'm in the mood to read this. Similar reason why to A Throne of Glass, because this is getting special editions published by Illumicrate, I think. They have announced what the covers look like and they look stunning, and the pre-orders go on sale on the 11th of April. I have not read any of F.T. Lukens' works before, so I want to read this book to see if I like their writing and then buy those special editions, because I think the covers on these books are gorgeous. It was the main reason I picked it up. But yeah, this is a queer story about a prince who ends up discovering this mysterious prisoner, and then the prince gets kidnapped, and this mysterious guy is the only one that I think can save him. Yeah, I think it's an MMYA fantasy romance, I think. But yeah, I want to read this to see if I like F.T. Lukens' writing, and then potentially buy those special editions of the books that Illumicrate, I think, are doing. They look like this, and they are stunning. That is technically all of my reads. So how many do we have? We have somehow ended up with 14 books. I'm not quite sure. I didn't think it was that many as I was going along, but I have like 4 books that I don't own. However, I do need to add one more book on here, and that is In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. This is the book club pick that I'm doing with my friends, and yeah, this is actually my pick, so hopefully we all like it. But yeah, this is a story of, this is again a queer story. It's about 2 guys during World War One. Yeah, I've heard a lot of buzz around it. This was kind of everywhere in Waterstones in the UK. I think it got like a Waterstones award or something, so I'm interested to see how I feel about this. So yeah, let's quickly go over what I got for the month of March. For the 4 books that I don't own, I got Yellowface for a ebook. I got Exile for my middle grade pick, which is the next book in the Keepers of the Lost City books. I'm going to be listening to some kind of Agatha Christie on Everand for Crime Detective. And then my KU book is my random ebook pick, which I will be doing as a poll pick. Then for the physical book, we have In Deeper Waters. This is for my mood read from my Roll of Reads Readathon. I have Adele for a European author that ends on an odd page number. Nightrise by Anthony Horowitz. This was for a series jar. Uprooted by Naomi Novak, my standalone jar. Throne of Glass, Sarah J. Maas. This is starting a new series. Felix Over Arthur by Case and Calendar. This is my own voice book that I've kind of been putting off, been meaning to read. Boys Over Flowers is for my manga pick. Oran High School Host Club is my manga jar pick. Selected Short Stories is for my read-only classic. 2nd month in a row. Will we actually get read through it this time? Arthur and Teddy Are Coming Out is my 3 pick. That is also technically kind of my colour match. And then I am adding on this book. So yeah, when you just look at this stack, it doesn't look too unmanageable. Yeah, so these are the books that I have for the month of March. I'm excited. I've got some different things here. Excited to read. I managed to get at least one of my book clubs on. Yeah, so I have no idea, like I said, how any of these will potentially fit for Realmathon, but I'm going to go now do a little bit of research and figure out what prompts I can use them for. So this is hopefully what I will be reading in March. The poll pick is up on my channel as this video goes live. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I shall see you again hopefully soon. Bye.